Have you ever farted during a game or pooped yourself? Have you ever accidentally pulled a Paul Pierce or a Devin Booker or now we know a Jimmy Butler?
A Pooh Pierce.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Seventh Man Up podcast. I'm your host, Alex Burleson, and I got two of my guys here. We got Josh, and then we got Manny, and we're just going to talk some hoops and just have some fun today. And I'll actually let them introduce themselves. So, Josh, if you want to go first and introduce yourself to the peeps.
What's going on, everybody? Very glad to be here. Seventh Man Pod is the best pod in this whole Sacramento region. Nobody comes close. Nobody's better.
And then we got my boy Manny over here.
I don't know how to top that, but Seventh Man Pod is the best pod here in Sacramento region. Manny here.
There we go. I like it. So, again, to both of you guys, thanks for coming on to the pod. And to start it off, I want to ask both of you guys the question, what got you into basketball? Let's start with you, Josh.
What made us NBA fans? This is a good question. Well, I got to say Gerald Wallace, No, just kidding. I know, hey, you guys got to know how Burley be doing out here. If you don't come with a knowledge of 2000s basketball, it's not going to work out well for you. So I'll say Kwame Brown instead. No, I'm just kidding, too. I would say what got me into basketball was watching the 2008 Boston Celtics beat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-2 when they had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. That was one of my first memories of watching basketball besides watching Baron Davis and the Warriors in 2006 play against the Jazz in the playoffs, Karolinko and all those guys, Darren Williams. So I'd say those two teams, but primarily Boston because I started playing basketball after watching Boston in 2008.
There you go. And for you, Manny, what got you into the NBA?
NBA? Okay. I guess for me, getting myself into the NBA was when Sacramento Kings came to my local church and put on this kind of Love Our City, computer event. It's kind of cool. They donated a bunch of computers and got to see Bibby and a few other ones. So that's what got me into basketball.
Computer thing? That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's no longer a thing, but yeah, they did at one point.
There you go. All right.
That's cool stuff. Question number 2. Oh, this is the one that you were excited for.
I told this guy before, I said, hey, out of all these questions, number 2 is going to be the most important, so you got to be ready.
It's number 2 times 2.
All right.
It literally is number 2.
So for both of you guys, have you ever farted during a game or pooped yourself? Have you ever accidentally pulled a Paul Pierce or a Devin Booker, or now we know a Jimmy Butler?
A Pooh Pierce? Who wants to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure, yeah, you can go first.
I want you to answer this one too, though.
Okay, I'll answer.
Maybe the host, but you can't get out of this one.
Okay.
Have I ever, not pooped. No, not during a game. But broke wind or farted, as they say, during a game? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's impossible not to. I made a cut, down to the lane, and it's probably just happened at that very moment. And I remember just man, it's already loud in this gym. People ain't hearing this anywhere, so it's fine. But yeah, if you play, and it's inevitable, you're gonna let one go at some point.
That's true. All right, what about for you, Manny?
Never really pooped myself during a game, but, on a fast break, I did do a couple fast breaks myself. It throws the defenders off, especially if, you had, Taco Bell before the game. You know how, 12-year-olds get. But, yeah, that's how my basketball life went for a while. Just fast breaks on fast breaks, Yeah, it's great stuff.
All right, what we got from you?
All right, and then you also wanted me to answer that question. In my playing days, I don't have specific memories, but kind of like what you were saying, where there's probably been times during the game where I'm running down the court from a rebound or going on getting a pass, and then I just let one rip. Probably used it as a defensive tactic at some point.
Did they trail on you on the fast break?
Right.
They didn't want to follow you anymore? Stand block? Yeah, they just start running, go, oh.
Hit with the wind, if you know.
Yeah, hit with the wind, bro.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh. So, you're tall. you're tall. Out of us, I'm like the short one. But growing up, I was a point guard and a center. And then once high school hit, all my friends outgrew me. So I went from a center to a point guard just like that. And some of my favorite bigs, like, you know me, I'm a big, like, underrated guy. Like Tyson Chandler, Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl, that's right.
Yeah, is it Montrezl or Montrez?
Well, you would say with the L. There's no L. It's silent.
Yeah, I know that.
Yep.
And then Quincy AC, bro. Love Quincy AC.
He's got one heck of a highlight reel. Go look that up on YouTube. Quincy AC career highlights.
There you go. Look that up, guys.
Yep.
And then one of my favorite names, you'd only know this name if you were a Laker fan, but Robert Ball Sacre.
I remember Rob Sacre. He had that ball. He if you were to take it clean, if you were to take it on home, you'd be pulling off a Sacre look right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
He was straight bald, but he probably was down in L.A. He was getting that thing waxed.
So, a little nair on the top.
He was getting it waxed.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I bet. And then out of all those guys that I mentioned, probably one of my favorites was Tyson Chandler, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember Tyson Chandler?
I don't know,
No?
I was more of a football guy growing up myself, but basketball always had love for the Kings.
I feel it. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson Chandler, man. I feel he was a little bit of Dwight Howard before Dwight Howard.
Yep. USA basketball gold medal.
That's right. Yeah.
USA basketball bronze medal too. I don't know if he's on that team, but
what year was that?
They won the bronze in 2004. But he did win a gold.
Yeah, that's the year Argentina won.
Yep.
With Manu Ginobili.
My goat.
Earlier, I was talking about how I'm a fan of underrated players, and if you want to help me out here, Josh, like name off some of these and we can talk about them.
Yeah, so I got the headband on right now because I came from the gym, but people be telling me I look like Hawkes out here, and I think he's one of the underrated players in today's league. He's young, he makes an impact, but I think another guy you have on here is Jeremy Grant, but you got to tell us about Jeremy Grant because you got the knowledge on him.
Yeah, I was a big Jeremy Grant fan. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but in his early days, he played for the Philadelphia 76ers. He was part of those Sam Hinkie tanking Sixers teams.
Process teams, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the process. And I feel Sam Hinkie just like put a whole bunch of players together and just be like, these players aren't going to be anything. Yeah, look at guys like Jeremy Grant and then
Michael Carter Williams, bro.
Michael Carter Williams, I would say.
And then
yeah,
nothing after that.
Nothing after that. Similar to Tyreek Evans.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah. But one of my favorite underrated players that I think he's still in the league is Robert Covington. I remember when he got signed to those tanking Sixers teams.
Oh, yeah.
And I started to watch him a little bit, and I was like, this guy's going to be something. He didn't become a superstar player, but he became your typical above average NBA player for years.
Yeah. Dude, why do you think he didn't become something? Was he hanging out with KD?
Yeah, I think so.
KD's a great player, but you got some stuff about KD that I think you got a couple of quotes about KD actually that you were going to go off of here. KD is in his own world at times that he's handed the stat sheet. He uses it for rolling ones.
Oh my goodness.
His words, not mine. I don't know.
Yeah, these are my words. I was just
crazy about KD.
I was just at work and these things just started to flow and I was like, I got to text these to my guy.
And then, okay, the final one. Hey, why don't you read that right there? Read that final text. But
KD wishes he would have played with Quincy Doobie. Assists all day, passing it around. This is the greatest quote ever.
Quincy Doobie, man, if you're a real Kings fan, you remember that guy. You always say you watched the game tonight against OKC and you said, look, they're losing, but I want them to lose with dignity. And so this is what a player like Quincy Doobie, this is what they did for the Kings. When they were getting blown out, come on in and hit a couple shots at the end so they can lose with dignity. When they were putting Doobie in and Grant Napier would be talking about, here's Doobie for three, it gets so exciting.
Oh my gosh.
You know, when you look at photos of him on Google,
Yeah.
you get like those like very low res like and looking images.
Right.
He has one Getty images, but that's about it. Nothing. There's no existence of that guy.
Yeah. All those images are blurry or they're just college pictures. Very little NBA pictures of Doobie.
Right.
Oh my God. I want to talk about another underrated player. This guy was like, he looked like he was 50 when he was like 20. Is Gerald Henderson. Remember Gerald Henderson? Do you remember Gerald Henderson?
But
A little bit.
if you be looking like you 50 when you're 20, then high school, bro, as a freshman, you probably had grown man hair.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy was looking like Ramon Sessions' dad. Oh man.
All right, we get to more serious topics now here with the what's going on with the league nowadays.
Oh yeah. So I alluded to this on my previous episode, but the things that I'm liking about the NBA, the 65 game rule for awards, I wanna hear what you guys think about that.
Well, I want to get Manny's perspective too, because in the NFL, I'm not sure what the rule is, but you probably have to. I don't know what the rule is. I probably shouldn't be speaking to this, but you got to play in the majority of the games to be eligible for MVP.
I feel like you should, yeah.
Yeah.
In any type of sport, you should be able to play every game, to be selected as MVP because you were sitting out half the season and, you getting glazed by some 13-year-olds think he's the best player, then I don't think he should be up for a MVP position.
Yeah, that could actually inflate your numbers though, because if you play in half the games and you play really good in those games, you have less games to go off of. So you could shoot like a great percentage, but this other guy who played every single game maybe had a few bad games that lowered his percentage. And so it's not a fair comparison. So, yeah, but NFL, typically you'll see guys maybe miss like the last week of the season when the games don't matter if they're like a top seed. Or they might miss like one, maybe two other games. But it seems like the requirements for that is like you got to play most of the games. So in the NBA, it's 65 out of 82. They made that change. I think that's pretty decent. I mean, it's still, I think it's a little over 80% of the games played. So I actually don't have a problem with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it because I think it gets rid of the whole idea of players resting, specifically like superstars, where in years past you might have a LeBron or a Kawhi Leonard or like a Paul George like have insane numbers, win MVP, but how many games did they play? Maybe only 55, 60 games?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about the play-in tournament.
Yeah. The play-in tournament, I really like the play-in tournament because I feel it solves the issue of tanking for teams that are fighting for the 7th, 8th spots. I still feel like you're in the playoffs even if you finish 9th or 10th because you're still playing an extra game. I've heard other fans like myself say, the play-in, that's not playoffs. Like playoffs, we sitting here talking about playoffs.
Going Herm Edwards on us, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those games feel like playoff games.
They do.
They don't count in the stats though. Actually,
they don't.
No, they do not record it as either a playoff or a regular season game. It doesn't count toward overall records and stats and stuff for the player's career. At least from what I understood about it. Every season until now. So the Klay Thompson 0 for 10 or whatever you want, it doesn't actually go like into his, career average for points or anything like that.
We just remember that he sucks. Okay.
That one game he did not do well. So people will remember that, especially in Sacramento. But
I remember that game.
But you don't like the NBA Cup though.
Yeah. The reason why I don't like the NBA Cup is I just feel it's games that don't need to really happen in a season because it'll tire players out. I feel even more. Even like teams that are destined already for playoffs, they're putting more mileage on their bodies. Like, do you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah, it could be because the Bucks and Thunder played in that game this year.
That's right.
And, that's another game that doesn't count towards stats.
Yeah.
Thunder had a long win streak going into that game. They lost the Cup championship to the Bucks in Vegas this last year, and then they won a number of games after that. And when I was reading about them, they said they have a double-digit win streak, so it's like they didn't even count. The level of competition definitely looks higher during the Cup games, but it feels in a way that it could be perceived as kind of gimmicky, because why do you
that's
need to insert that if the players should be playing like that already?
Yeah.
Like, why is there a need for that?
Right.
You don't see that in football. You don't see that in other sports. And matter of fact, hockey had the Four Nations thing. That wasn't for, I don't know. I mean, maybe they got awarded some money. I'm not sure. But that was more for national pride. And people loved that.
Mhm.
Like, they got out there and competed. So to put it, an NBA Cup in there, and then what they're going to have to do with the finals is probably move it away from Vegas too, because the crowd is a little bit like, a little lackluster at those final games. And so there's a couple things that they can change. I'm pretty sure they'll keep it because it does help with competition. But when the fans know they're getting paid extra to play harder, I think that kind of rubs off the wrong way.
It's 500,000, I think, right?
Yeah, 500 for each player. Which is like, what's 500,000 to LeBron? Maybe I should just write this off on my taxes.
Right.
And an idea that popped into my head, I wanna hear what you think about it, Manny, is what I saw. We know the WNBA is starting to get more popular. I noticed it's currently the off season for the WNBA, but they had some kind of competition a while ago. I forget what it was called. And you had like the top WNBA players playing in it, and it actually got a lot of attention. And I feel the NBA could maybe do something like that, incorporating like what they're doing in the in-season tournament with that.
I think, man.
What was it, like a rookies versus like veterans type tournament? What was it like? Do you remember what it was like? Because in my opinion, that was the case. The rookies are getting cooked in the NBA. You got Caitlin Clark over here, shooting half-court shots like she's Steph Curry over, I don't know, Angel Reese, who, gets a double-double on her own rebounds.
Yeah.
But like,
thinking WNBA versus NBA.
yeah.
That's what we need to see. Those, they want to get paid more money. Caitlin Clark, go ahead and take it one-on-one. Let's go. Manny's going to pick Caitlin Clark.
I will.
Let's go.
Yeah, she is my go, honestly. She was in the NBA. I'll buy her jersey. But I think for me, a Caitlin Clark versus like prime Kevin Huerter would be pretty funny. But I need like an Angel Reese versus DeMarcus Cousins, even though he's on like the Sharks and
that was, I think, Brittany Griner challenged DeMarcus Cousins years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Bro, come on, get out of here."
Yeah.
Or no, who was it? It was Griner. Yeah, Griner.
Yeah. Before Russia or after Russia?
Well, definitely before, dude.
Yeah. Before her voice got deeper.
Yeah.
She has a deeper voice than me, but that's okay. I need to get on her, like, I don't know, meal plan. I'll get your voice deeper. But yeah,
when she was in high school, she averaged like 20 blocks a game. Or so it was something crazy. Like, what in the world?
Well, yeah, she had first like a 5'5", like white girl that just got out of geometry, and you trained your whole life. Maybe she was taking steroids.
I don't know if we're ever gonna get a DNA test on that one, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's probably talk about that.
Let's close it off or what?
Yeah.
So how do you want to close? You want to close on any predictions?
Yeah, let's close on some predictions. I know we're close to the end of the season. So I'll start. So I'll go with the home team first. Kings, I think will finish off the 10th, so they'll get the last seed in the play-in, and I think that's as far as they'll get, is just the play-in.
Yeah.
And then I say for winning it all this year, I think the Celtics have a really good shot at repeating MVP. I think, as a lot of fans don't like it, I think they're gonna give it to SGA. Yeah.
You want to go next? What do you think the Kings are gonna finish at?
Kings are gonna be number 10. I can feel it. They can make a push for number 10 and get swept by OKC, but I still don't think OKC is good enough to win it all this year. I think Celtics, I'm going to go off of Alex, that they have the best possibility to win the chip again.
Go back-to-back.
Back-to-back Super Bowl, I was going to say Super Bowl championship games.
Yeah.
And, I think Celtics are going to go all the way. I don't think OKC is good enough to go all the way. It might be a Boston Lakers championship game.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That's what the league wants.
That's the league wants.
We know, Adam.
Boston in 7, maybe. Who knows? That'd be pretty fun to watch.
That's what Adam really wants right there. You know what Boston just sold for $6.1 billion? Yeah, I'm going to echo the same thing as you guys. think the Kings are going to be 9 or 10. Be 10. They're going to have to beat out Dallas for the 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they're going to play Phoenix in the play-in, and the winner of that plays for the 8 seed and the chance to get swept or gentlemen swept by the Thunder in the first round. And then the finals before the season, I had OKC against Boston. Boston 4-2, so I'm sticking with that.
Okay. I'll hold you to that.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yeah. Well, I want to
Guarantee.
I appreciate you guys coming
Thank
on.
you. Yes. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Sir.
Seventh Man Podcast. Better subscribe.
The best podcast. Nobody does it better. Nobody. Believe me.
Yeah. My boys, Josh and Manny. Love you guys. And thanks for tuning in. And as always, remember, stay up with them threes up. Love, joy, peace. See ya.